let's talk about education. It's not good.
This is how we get Oklahoma education back on track, by empowering parents, using free market principles.
Again, this is just Oklahoma, but we're going to go into
it. To make Oklahoma a leader in education.
It's worse than you probably think it is.
I'm very excited about the future for Oklahoma students because of what we were able to accomplish this year. You know, we started off the year by ensuring there would be no pornographic material in the classroom. We had to get...
Pornographic material means literally anything that mentions the existence of a gay person, a bi person, a trans person, anything that involves, I don't know, teaching children about their body, which usually is like in a library, but is still not like available to everybody. This whole like, there's pornography in school libraries thing is such fucking bullshit. But nobody cared enough to make the point back of like, you people are being whingy little fucking snowflakes about it. And so now anything that even remotely doesn't agree with Christian family values is now pornographic material. I died in Borderline. There's so much fucked up shit sexually in the Bible, but they have one for every kid. Of course. I mean, like, they don't actually care about sex when they say pornography. Pornography to them means woke. It's anyone that doesn't fall into the specific category. Oxpecker, the closest I saw to a kid's book where the kid was trying to replace his lost butt robot dog butts count apparently along with the Bible. Sure, that makes sense.
This radical left ideology out of the classroom, and that started with the pornography being pushed in our schools.
Again, bullshit with zero evidence, but sure.
Next, what we were wanting to do is to ensure that we had the focus back on academics, not indoctrination. We launched our Back to the Basics
So
plan.
this is the exact claim that Donald Trump made of we're going to not indoctrinate your kids by indoctrinating your kids. As we saw in the Trump education video, I think it was point 3 of we will stop indoctrination of children in schools. We'll teach them math and science and English, not indoctrination. Point 4, we will teach American students to love their country.
We launched our Back to the Basics plan, which ensured our kids were focused on math, reading,
Oh, look,
science,
it's exactly the Trump speech.
history. So important
In different order.
That's our focus of our schools. And our Back to the Basics plan emphasizes those key aspects of education.
Back to the basics sounds like we're cutting everything other than the very basic things that we need to teach you, like how to read, very small amounts of text, how to speak. We need to go back to the basics of we teach kids enough to do labor. We're not indoctrinating you is the most indoctrinating statement you can say. Yeah. I am indoctrinating you, by the way. I'm just indoctrinating you to never believe anything anyone says without questioning it, including myself.
One of the other things that's so important for our kids is that we continue to bring parents to the table. That we continue to empower.
Yeah,
families.
look.
We were able to launch
The background
universal
music, they want people to listen to this video and feel comfortable. To feel like, oh, they're finally going to fix the schools. But the music is actually important, Mercury Shadow and Oxpecker. You guys are so right about it, because what you don't understand, or what a lot of people don't, is that all of this is intentionally made every step of the way. It's like the QAnon videos that have like hypnotic music and binaural sounds in the background. It's like the supermarket that plays the poppy music that's also not in any way going to take a emotional reaction out of you. It's just dance pop. You're not really thinking about much. It's old music from like the 80s so that you're happy and comfortably walking around. It's like having the logo of your company be a specific color because you want to denote a feeling in the person looking at it. These are all propaganda techniques made on purpose. It feels like a corporate HR video music to me. Yeah, it does, because it is. And that's because most of the people that are going to watch this and think that it's real, think that it's a good thing, will will buy it because of that. It's like how technically everything is propaganda because everyone has an angle. It's just that some propaganda is technically good if the message is good. Exactly. Propaganda is not a good or a bad word. It's not anything. It's neutral. It's a tool and how it's applied. Psychologists come up with this shit. Exactly.
School choice through a tax credit, which allows parents to choose the school of choice for their child.
This functions in taking money out of public schools and putting them into private schools so that your public school is shittier. Thank you for the sub, Batman. It makes your public school shittier, generally just siphons money out of lower income communities because obviously your schools are funded based on your property taxes. Now, if you're sending your kids to private school, even through the tax credit, so they've done this in Arizona, Mari Meteor. What happens is, they give you a tax credit that says 90% of the private school tuition the government will cover, making it functionally not a private school anymore because now it's publicly funded because every kid that moves over gets that public funding paid to the private school, and that money no longer goes to the public school, making that shittier. But also, the only people that do this are people who are already rich. If you line up, like if you look at the statistics of people who apply for these, and take them. I don't have them pulled up and I don't care to look them up right now because we have a lot more to go about on education. So Google it if you don't believe me, but also don't take my word for it. You probably should check some sources on that. I'll post them in Discord after stream. But not only does that money get siphoned out of the community and into the private school, into profit, into the money, into the money grubbing hands of the owners of these schools. I'll call them schools, but really they're fucking indoctrination centers. They are there specifically to make the wealthy kids succeed and continue the system of oppression of the less wealthy kids. Not only does taking this money out of the school system reduce the education of the public school kids, but it also reduces the amount of social interaction they can do, the amount of like education they receive impacts their behavior going forward. And this is all a domino effect. They want to make you dumber. They want to take your money. They want to give it to the rich and they want to enslave you. It's the same as the prison system, because as we're going to see, not only is the idea of we need to like get all of the woke shit out of class the point here, the school system is trying to enslave the children as well.
With this,
gambling,
they can send their kids
already
to
a plague, it'll be
private
worse.
school, Christian school, or even homeschool.
Oh, yes. Homeschool should be illegal in America, real quick. But yes, you can send your kids with government money to a Christian school, which is against the Constitution, but also homeschool, which really just should be illegal. Education should be free and people seeking education should be encouraged. True.
This gave parents that opportunity and allows Oklahoma to continue to improve the educational outcomes for every child. With that, we also wanted to ensure that parents have the best teachers in the country for their kids. This is where we use free.
This is where they're saying we're going to fire anyone who has colored hair or a piercing. Isn't Oklahoma like 40th in the nation for testing? Yes, iodine and borderline. Does not matter, because this isn't about increasing the education of your children. This isn't about making their school better. It's about enslaving them, as we're going to see, because it's not just these systems. Sneak peek, a teaser of what we're going to talk about in a minute. The governor of Oklahoma announced a new program requiring students to do one of the following to graduate: be accepted into college, be accepted into trade school, also pay for them and attend them is not included in this, but those are parts of the new program. If a student is not accepted to college or trade school or can't afford the cost, they will be required to join the army. Forced conscription, guys. Forced conscription. So that's where this is going. But if it helps, yeah.
We started off the year by ensuring there would be no pornographic material in the classroom. We had to get...
Wait, I went too far back.
educational outcomes for every child. With that, we also wanted to ensure that parents had the best teachers in the country for their kids.
Again, this is just fire all the blue-haired piercing girls or autistics or queers that are teachers, which is insane because they already don't have enough teachers. So I mean, like, again, pay attention because they're going to fuck up massively. You can see it. They're not going to succeed in their goals. They've gone soft.
This is where we use free market principles to bring over.
What was that second requirement? It was trade school. It was you have to go to college, you have to go to trade school, you have to pay for both of those, whichever one you're going to, or you go get conscripted into the military.
500 new teachers
for every child
to our schools who were signed
yes, all of them.
That gave more money.
Now you're getting
to the
it,
best
Maori.
and brightest teachers to enter the classroom. But we didn't stop there. We also wanted to introduce merit pay for teachers so that the highest performing teachers.
Oh, look, the more you indoctrinate children, the more you get paid. If you say things we don't like, you don't get paid. Yes, to graduate high school, Oxpecker. Don't talk about Linda McMahon really quickly before we really get into the weeds on education. Let's talk about the education secretary.
I'm going to close the department.
The WWE wife.
Department of Education and move education back to the states.
Donald Trump picked former World Wrestling Entertainment executive Linda McMahon to lead the Department of Education, an agency he vowed to abolish. So, who is Linda McMahon? Along with her now separated husband Vince McMahon, Linda founded the modern-day WWE.
Wait, hold on. Can we clear something up really quickly? You know they don't want you to be smart, right? Like, you know, the entire fight that happened between like MAGA and the tech bros happened because Americans are too dumb to do the jobs, and none of the and that is true, by the way. The whole H-1B argument is complicated because we do need those visas because Americans are too stupid to do the jobs, but also the visas are exploitative and immoral. That's where all of this came from. We are already too dumb. Thanks, Oxpecker. I'll definitely do that. The issue being, they don't want to make you smarter.
And what we need to have a conversation about is what is it going to mean for the future of our country, our national security, and the incoming Trump administration if we have a bunch of technocrats who are also essentially welfare queens because their companies are receiving government subsidies and they want to take over our defense industry. If you have a bunch of tech bros with billions of dollars and direct unfettered access to the vice president and the president of the United States, and then they are also, very cordial with our adversaries, as in China and Iran. We see that Elon Musk is having these meetings off the books with Iranian officials. With
An educated populace is dangerous to them. Exactly. This is, by the way, an example of that. This is a neo-Nazi turning on Elon. Because of education, because they know better. Now, these people don't want to make education, welfare queen is how you should absolutely refer to Elon Musk, by the way. In fact, let's just start calling CEOs welfare queens. It's not inaccurate. Most of these companies are living off of government subsidies. Look at the agriculture industry, the meat industry, the dairy industry. They're all living off government subsidies. These are all fucking welfare queens. But they don't want you to know how any of that works. They want you to be dumb and be taught by WrestleMania lady so that you don't know how to fucking work for your rights, so you don't ever unionize, so that you don't know better, so that they can control you easier. That's what they want.
A multi-billion-dollar enterprise she led as president and then CEO up until 2009. That year, she was appointed to the Connecticut State Board of Education, but resigned in April 2010 to make a failed run for Senate twice.
We have built a home for the America First movement.
Today, she's chair of the board of the America
There is no
First
meritocracy in the United States.
The conservative think tank staffed by Trump alumni that's reportedly...
Yes, this is why the mouth-breathing WWE is coming back and it's on Netflix. It's all over Twitter. It's because Linda McMahon is part of the Trump administration because they spent a bunch of money to support this because now they're making money. There's like MAGA hats all over any like WWE event now. It's like, it's for them. That's why Hulk Hogan was helping and shit. That was part of what got them the election. At least their voters. That's what riled up a portion of their base.
planning for a second administration for
It's kind of pathetic.
She's also co-chair of the Trump transition team. How did a former professional wrestling executive enter Trump's orbit in the first place? Trump and the McMahons go way back. In 1988 and 1989, Trump was a sponsor for WWE's WrestleMania in Atlantic City, New Jersey.
New York's own Donald Trump!
Trump would go on to appear ringside at many WWE events over the years.
I mean, we threatened several of our allies.
Eventually
recently.
throwing punches in his own storyline.
Won't kids have to sign up their children in the army if not 18? There has to be an out or mandatory sign up. There is not. Not in that law. Not in Oklahoma.
Trump was even inducted
last
into
Airbender, to be clear.
WWE's Hall of Fame in 2013. When he ran for president in 2016, Linda McMahon was one of his early donors. While in office, Trump McMahon to lead the
Denmark
Small Business
offered to buy
Administration,
America.
a role she held until resigning in March 2019 to chair a pro-Trump super PAC. If confirmed, McMahon would oversee the agency that enforces Title IX, which protects people from sexual harassment and assault. This has raised eyebrows, given an October 2024 lawsuit accuses WWE leaders, including McMahon, of allowing a ringside announcer to sexually abuse young boys in the 1970s,
look, more fucking
80s,
child
and early
rapists in government. It's almost like they're the Epstein party. It's almost like Donald Trump is a convicted rapist, which again was just reconfirmed, by the way. It's almost like the confirmed and convicted rapist, actually both, but rapist, is also a sexual predator of children. Now, back to Ryan Walters, not on that interview, but a different interview we're going to have a look at. Ryan Walters has been a busy, busy boy.
We've been looking at Oklahoma academic standards, and it's crystal clear to us that in the Oklahoma academic standards, under Title 70, multiple occasions, the Bible is a necessary historical document to teach our kids about the history of this country, to have a complete understanding of Western civilization, to have an understanding of the basis of
Is
our
anyone
legal system.
surprised?
We've been looking at.
Is anybody surprised? Not me. Now, Oklahoma is leading the charge. But don't think for a second this stuff doesn't follow down the line to every other school. Especially if it's useful. Like if Oklahoma does good, do you think they won't apply this to everybody?
Also, I'm always
So
talking...
here's the governor of Oklahoma explaining his idea of forced conscription.
Also, I'm always talking about classrooms to careers. I want every kid ready for a career, and so I'm thinking about even making it a requirement to graduate from Oklahoma high schools. You've got to either be accepted to college, or you have to be accepted into a career tech, or you have to be going into the Army. You have to have some kind of plan post-graduation to go get a great job. And I think that's something that our counselors and we can all be driving people for, because there's so many great jobs out there and we are made to work and be part of society. And so trying to help those young people get ready for the future.
Trying to help those young people get ready to do labor forever for other people.
On us as leaders to really set that stage and that expectations for people that they can accomplish whatever they set their mind to.
Social media post made by Oklahoma Governor Stitt sparked confusion and frustration among parents who see a potential change in the state's graduation requirements, forcing their children into the military if they do not attend college, which would require them to pay for this, by the way. Again, if you can't pay for college, you're fucked. Sorry. Thanks for the follow, Ich bin dead. Now, Oklahoma has no such law currently, but in this post, which was, obviously this is not just a hypothetical that he thought of in an interview. They have a graphic for it, right? They're trying to do this. Classrooms to careers, is what it's called. It seems like a plan for exodus into other states. I mean, that's the thing. You kind of can't expect that because most Americans, don't see this stuff. They're never going to see it. And if they do, and it would affect them negatively, then they're too poor to move anyway. Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. I mean, both, but have to, because the land of the free, you have to pursue this controlled set of career paths. Exactly. This is all part of the plan. It's in Project 2025. improve recruiters' access to secondary schools, and require completion of the Armed Services Vocational Aptitude Battery, the military entrance examination, by all students in schools that receive federal funding. Project 2025. It's always been part of the plan from day one. This was part of it. And if this isn't enough to show you that they have no desire, none, to teach your children, to take care of your children,
the number of school employees
make a positive difference in your kids' lives, in their health, in their future. This is the kind of stuff that's produced. This is what kids are like now in Texas. This is a video from 2 weeks ago. Do you think this gets better or worse with these new implemented systems? Like, and again, by the way, people are going to look at this and they're going to say, well, maybe the Army would help these kids because they need to learn discipline, which is insane, because they'll learn discipline. They'll just also get radicalized and become extremists who want to kill like brown people. But sure, let's have a look. If I was a kid, I'd pretend to be stupid to not be allowed into the Army. Sucks. They'll find a job for you if you're stupid. You think the Army doesn't have stupid people in it? The military doesn't have idiots? We have some. We have special jobs for them.
The number of school employees being assaulted on the job is rising in Texas.
More than 2,600 assaults on educators were reported last school year, according to new data from the Texas Education Agency. KXAN.
Oh, yes, of course. You know, like the students are being abused by the woke teachers. The woke teachers are trying to groom the children, while it's like the teachers are being bullied by the children to the point where they're like crying, wanting to quit, not wanting to go to work. But yes, of course, you know, grooming the children.
Investigator Kelly Wiley is tracking what happens.
Boot camp absolutely does like have the ability to cause PTSD.
When Tiffany Robinson began teaching in Texas, she never imagined she'd be writing this letter 18 years later.
Gerald ISD trustees, I am writing to formally resign from my position as chemistry teacher at Gerald High School effective immediately. Just a lot of disappointment. You just get worn down.
The last straw, she says, was on
the trauma that they inflict on you, that the system inflicts on you, is on purpose, because it makes it so that you can, these outcomes are more likely to happen because people who behave in this way are much more easily controlled by the powerful, the wealthy. They're not smart, they're just rowdy.
When she says a rowdy group of students eager to leave class.
Look at Russia with conscripts. See how well they're doing.
And telling me, F you're going to make me late to my next class. And they were getting up out of their chairs and coming forward, and it was getting ready to get out of control.
By the time the bell finally rang, Robinson decided this would be the end of her near 2-decade teaching career.
I was crying, went to the associate principal, and I told her, I said, I'm done, I'm resigning. I'm not doing this. I'm not taking this anymore.
Gerald ISD officials told us they work hard with campus police and administrators to build an environment.
I love hearing campus police when we're talking about middle school and high school.
Where teachers can perform their duties without fear, harassment, or violence.
Again, apparently the teachers are grooming the kids, but the teachers are quitting their jobs because the kids are harassing them, being violent towards them, and don't give 2 fucks about learning in school.
They also said
they're going to make these kids do labor, and then Republicans are going to say, well, look, all these kids were rowdy, they were beating their teachers, they were not learning, they weren't engaging, and now we can have them do work, we can teach them discipline, have the great Elon Musk will allow these people to work on, I don't know, building plastic hubcaps for Teslas.
For security initiatives and mental health resources. The incident in Robinson's classroom stopped short of any physical assault, but new data from the Texas Education Agency shows the number of assaults perpetrated by students against school staff statewide rose 18% last school year.
In 1 year, an 18% rise in violence perpetrated by students against teachers. Oop. Say hi, Frank. Good timing, iodine and borderline. Mwah. He's very, very sleepy today. Big kitty. My sister is a public school teacher. She says it's absolutely insane how kids behave now. True, you can literally just go on like r/teachers and go have a look at what they're saying. Like it's fucked up. Don't act like it's not even. It's brain damaging to go on r/teachers these days
compared to the year before.
It's definitely increased, probably for several factors.
Zeph Capo is the president of the Texas chapter of the American Federation of Teachers, an organization representing more than 65,000 educators.
The lack of behavioral supports, the lack of mental health services that we've seen in the state of Texas, none of our mental health providers, whether it's counselors, social workers, psychologists, meet the recommended student to professional ratios.
Are you asking if there's more autistic people now than there were before, Karen? Is that the question? Because the answer is no. The answer is we're just testing more and we're finding people that were autistic that didn't know they were autistic. It's not like an increase in the amount of people who are autistic. It's an increase in testing. It's the same with trans people. People aren't more trans than they were before. It's just people are more comfortable saying that they're trans. And when you look at that on a graph, it looks like a big line going up. But that's because prior to this, we either weren't looking for it, we didn't know it existed, or it was shameful, and so people hid it and didn't talk about it. It's just that. Beatings will continue until moral improves. True, Maori Meteor, true.
In the state of Texas.
Under Texas law, teachers who are assaulted at school can request what's called assault leave. Paid days to recover from physical injuries that can't be deducted from the employee's personal accrued leave. The law says districts must immediately approve assault leave once it's requested. But our analysis of district policies found if a district later...
It's almost like it's a joke. First of all, I can't make this shit up. You guys understand that, right? This is some insane shit that took these people years to write about, to work on. All of this comes straight out of Project 2025. But also, do not ever be surprised that the system that prioritizes money over its students, over its workers, over its community, to ever, even when they're legally obligated to provide you with something, that they won't also try and fuck you while they do. Never, ever believe that.
Determines an incident didn't meet the criteria. The district can retroactively...
You're the hot girl at the party, and these are all the Chad fucking jocks that want to fuck you without your consent.
For example, by a workers' comp doctor, then a teacher may actually lose their own personal leave to heal from an assault. Not every assault results in a teacher being hospitalized.
I've talked about this before, Maori Meteor, actually. I've said this exact thing. It used to be illegal for you as a politician, an elected official, a newscaster, a media personality to openly, deliberately, knowingly lie. That was illegal. We took that away. That should come back. You have to obviously prove this in a court of law, just like anything else, but it should be illegal. If I start spreading misinformation, that should be illegal. But it's not. If Joe Biden wants to say the sky is purple and make a law saying everybody has to agree with that, technically he can do that. Because he's allowed to lie. We should change that back. Tucker Carlson literally lost his job as the #1 newscaster in America for lying, losing the lawsuit over it, went to Russia, got made fun of by Vladimir Putin for an hour, glazed their supermarkets, and yes, now he's back doing it again. A basic tenet for any working society is basic honesty in public. Yes. I've gone into this. You want cooperation. You want to build a system in which people want to work together, want to try. You have to incentivize people to care because they've been incentivized to not care. I went to a school for behaviorally challenged kids, and we had less assaults than it seems a normal school has now. Well, yeah, because schools have gotten worse. You're around my age, iodine and borderline, aren't you? When we were kids, school was not this bad.
Acute medical care follow-up, but sometimes you don't want to go back in the classroom the next day.
KXAN analyzed data from Central Texas school districts between 2018
I didn't even have school shootings in my day. Like, we didn't have those in my day. When I was in high school, like, we had maybe a couple, but it wasn't like a big thing yet. It wasn't, school shooting every 2 days in the United States. Like, we hadn't got there yet. The closest that I ever got to something like that, we had drills, but that's because I lived like right by Manhattan. We had lockdown drills for like other things. It was usually like really based in 9/11 fear. They thought like the Muslims were going to cross the bridge and then bomb my high school. Funny, I don't know. Because it's an insane thing that like you only really understand if you lived either in New York or New Jersey, like right by Manhattan when 9/11 happened, to see like how the school systems adopted things that they thought would be safety from, I don't know, like Islamic terrorism, but are now just used to help indoctrinate children. But beyond this, right, the worst thing that ever happened, like the closest thing to something like this that happened in my school, we had violence, don't get me wrong, but it was like not in class. You wanted to fight somebody, you fought after school. The boys would fight, the girls would fight, the boys would fight like pussies, the girls would fight like fight, but it wasn't in the classrooms. My 7th grade always acted feast-rated joke. Well, I mean, to be fair, like we always joked as well. I not like my classes didn't, I don't know, make fun of the substitute teacher, that we didn't try and fuck around and find out. Girls are vicious, I will say that though. I literally saw a girl grab someone else by the hair and slam her face into like concrete stairs. The boys just like grapple like they're wrestling and talk shit. That's it. It depends on where you are. Yeah, you went to a poor high school. I went to a rich high school. Sorry. Like property taxes are what decide what school you go to. So that was my experience from a rich high school. But none of them were this bad. 10, 15 years ago, even that, I don't know.
Among the 29 Central Texas districts that
maybe
responded
in some
to our
places, but
survey,
broadly, no.
District officials reported at least 340 assaults on employees in that time frame. But those
what was the time frame again?
That responded to our survey,
2018,
district officials reported at least 340 assaults on employees in that time frame. But those districts received far fewer assault leave requests.
340 assaulted employees, and only 46 of them got their request for leave approved, that they legally have to approve immediately when the claim is made.
And approved just 46 requests collectively. Robinson says,
well, the shootings only ever really happen in public schools, not often in private schools.
But at 56, she's starting a new chapter and a new career in real estate.
Did they say before that the assault leave comes out of their vacation days? No, it doesn't. It doesn't come out of their vacation days, and they're required to immediately say yes. But only 46 out of 340 got them. And you know what? If you missed it in the beginning, they were saying that delay, deny. These people all have the same ideals, and that's fuck you, give me your money.
I don't want to go back. It's just disappointing. It's just disappointing.
But they don't give you the leave. Bulletproof bullet. The kids will hit you, and then what? You come back to class the next day.
The problems have gotten worse.
You don't get your leave.
And I don't see
46 out of 340.
So far for this upcoming legislative session that starts in January, lawmakers have not pre-filed any bills to address assaults on educators. There hasn't been any significant legislation on this issue since 2019, when lawmakers added harassment to the list of behaviors for which a student must be removed from the classroom. In Austin, Kelly Wiley.